So the Indiana Fever won the game, and look, if we're going to be completely honest, they probably won the whistle as well. They probably won the whistle. But at the end of the day, the Aces win the whistle 9 out of 10 times they step on the floor. 9 out of 10 times you are playing 6v5 because the referees, sometimes even 7v5 or even 8v5 with these referees. Sometimes it is just not a fair matchup when you're playing the Aces. And in the rare occasion when the Aces don't get the whistle, it's something that you're just kind of like, oh, damn. Like, this is a real shock. But this is Age's response. I also saw this meme, which I found hilarious. Aaliyah Boston, Age's whistle to A'ja Wilson. Aaliyah Boston with the Thor hammer. With the Thor hammer for A'ja Wilson with Age's whistle. Like, in fairness, it was the Aaliyah whistle today. It was absolutely the Aaliyah whistle. But listen to Age's response.
But what made it successful for them to keep going to her tonight?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Aaliyah that question. I honestly, you just do your work. You got to do your work early and make it different. But Aaliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today.
She said that to you?
Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool. So we just got to play their better defense, make her look a little difficult, and kind of go from there.
All right, thank you all.
Yeah.
Like, coming out there, look, I think Age is trying to take this personally. A'ja Wilson complaining about the special whistle. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if there are two players that cannot complain about a special whistle, it is Paige Bueckers and it is A'ja Wilson. It absolutely is. Like, Paige and A'ja have had two of the most favorable whistles I've ever seen. And then you know what? Like, you can't complain when the one time that, you know, a favorable whistle is not in your favor. Because, like, 95% of the time, A'ja Wilson's is benefiting from it. Like, the one thing I will say is that they've done the referees are really tightening up in the playoffs. I talk about this in another video. I'm talking about the actual whistle. They've tightened up on off the ball, not even off the ball physicality, away from the basket physicality. They've tightened up when it comes to freedom of movement in this game especially. But I think they did such a bad job of the freedom of movement when it came to the Lynx game that they really like flipped 180, and that benefits the Fever because the Fever are more reliant on, like, you can get the Fever out of their game more by kind of like pushing them away from the ball than you can the Aces. But at the end of the day, the Aces don't kind of go through people quite as often as the Indiana Fever do. Ironically, the Aces, A'ja Wilson's more of a finesse player than Aaliyah Boston when they're both focusing on scoring. So yeah, it's a funny one. It is a funny one. But listen to A'ja Wilson's response. Look, I think this is A'ja Wilson trying to, like, you know, get into whatever mindset it is, because let's be real, A'ja Wilson is a killer. We've seen it with teams. Like, I actually think Cheryl Reeve, for if nothing else, knew the Fee Collier was done. And is like, let me take my suspension and maybe this spurs my team on for a win. Any bit of motivation that's needed. And maybe A'ja Wilson gets more aggressive. Maybe she gets more aggressive in Game 5. Which, again, absolutely there's a chance of that happening. But it is funny, though, that A'ja Wilson being like, oh, she says I have... Aaliyah said I have a special whistle. She shot 13 free throws. Like, it is like she's pissed for her to be saying things. She's so angry. That's where I need her to be right now. Not hearing all this whine from a player who got 25% of her points from free throws. If you have Alyssa defending Aaliyah in the post, what do you think is going to happen? Same with Meg Gustafson. He's mad AB took the whistle from her in this game. You know, it's funny when I've heard many people say that Age is a special whistle. I'm pretty sure Aaliyah Boston is not one of them. Yeah, I don't think Aaliyah Boston... She literally said after last game, I actually don't think Aaliyah Boston. I've said it. Fans literally have called her Age a whistle. Age a whistle. Like the A whistle or Aja with the apostrophe being a whistle. Like, we've all done that. Like, everybody knows that Aja Wilson has a special whistle. And ironically, probably including Aja Wilson. Probably including Aja. Like, I would be shocked if Aja Wilson does not know she's a favorite whistle. But the funniest part about it is that, like, I think the only reason everyone talks about it when it comes to Aja and when it comes to Stewie is that, like, they have the superstar whistles. And, like, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah. Up until today, Aaliyah has had one of the worst whistles I think I've ever seen. Like, Aaliyah this season has had an absolutely shocking whistle. But suddenly today, you know, it was actually, you know, on her side. Age dropping 50 in game 5. What are you talking about? This is your MVP. Like, look. All Aja had to do was hit her free throws. Unpopular opinion. If Aja had hit her free throws in a stretch, I know it was a... That's the wrong game. I know it was a 7-point game, but all she had to do was hit her free throws. Aja Wilson shot 50% from the free throw line. Just letting you guys know, Aja Wilson shot 50% from the free throw line. Is there a free throw percentage here? She has not been shooting well from the free throw line. She shot... Where's the regular season playoffs? Shot 3 of 6. She's made 3 of her last 7 free throws. And again, game 1, she was 6 of 22. Game 2, they killed them. In fairness, she was 10 of 11 actually in that last game in Seattle. But 6 of 11 in the game they lost. And like she missed a huge some of them down the stretch. Like Aja's absolutely been struggling from the free throw line this playoffs, especially when it matters. But at the end of the day, sometimes this is what should happen. You shouldn't always have the favorable whistle in every single game. You shouldn't have it. At the end of the day, the game should be refereed fair. But if a game is refereed fair, you know, sometimes you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to have, for every game that's even, you should have most games being even, but for every game you have a favorable whistle, you should have a bad whistle. If all was fair and, you know, all was fair in basketball. But it's not. You have the favorable whistle 9 out of 10 times, you set foot on the floor. You know how you might be able to get more calls? Maybe throw some pump fakes. Maybe try to go through Aaliyah Boston instead of around Aaliyah Boston. Why? Because you know Aaliyah's stronger than you, so you're not going to do that. Anyway. So yeah, that is the video. I'll see you guys. Just found it funny.